Hello there everyone, welcome back. We had matched up against Eldar in the last match, and now we're ready to round it off with Tau. And this will be a kind of fun match, maybe an interesting match, at least Tau versus Imperial Navy, because the interesting thing with Tau is that while they have less health than my cruisers comparatively, they have amazing durability and amazing firepower, with their adaptive deflector and all their weaponry being able to fire on the prow, so they get the benefit of having their armor on top of the shields bonus and being able to fire everything they got in their arsenal without really being hindered, despite the fact they're lower health. They basically outmatch me stat-wise almost, I want to argue, because with the additional 100 health shield, that one sauce alone basically is as durable as my Dauntless, and again, it can keep its prow facing me there, while I have to face my side to them to kind of actually be able to do appropriate damage. So this is going to be an interesting matchup, and thankfully, I had a little bit of experience with Tau there, especially in my weekend streaming, because my very final ranked match that I did on my Sunday Twitch video was actually against the Tau, and really, the only thing I felt like that screwed me over quite heavily was the fact that I overextended trying to chase down a single damn protector that had no health and no way to repair itself. So if I play safe and play careful and just maximize my damage potential when I get close, then we're probably doing okay, because quite frankly, the main strength I have against Tau, as weird as it may sound, is my prow. Using brace for impact when my shields are down, and just using the prow to soak all the damage I can as I close the distance, is probably going to be my best weapon. Because even though Tau, as I said before, have that amazing durability, it does not contribute well with ramming damage if I can get the ramming in, especially when you combine it with the fact that two of my tyrants here have the power ram, so I'm feeling okay, especially, like I said, unlike Eldar, where I had no experience with, I actually had a good number of matches with Tau. It's just a matter of knowing the limitations and knowing where I'm my strongest, quite frankly, because whenever I turn my side to him, that's where I'm going to take a crap ton of damage, and when I have my prow to him, that's where I'm practically going to be doing no damage, unless my torpedoes can somehow get through his fighter waves, which, as we deploy here, I actually decide to deploy way over on the left. I was thinking of deploying in the middle at first, but then I saw this gas cloud over here and I thought it was worth, going over there to use it to kind of like the screen me, to kind of protect my ships there from the possible Manta bombers that are probably going to be the biggest thing I'll have to take seriously, especially with only seeing 3 ships there. I don't think I actively check at the ships there effectively, but I wonder if he has a custodian or not. I don't think, yeah, with him having 600 points and those being possibly cruisers, I don't think that's actually the case. But what he does do is field 3 protectors and a sauce, I believe. So he's got a lot of firepower even without the custodian, especially with the bomber front. He's going to have 6 bombers that could do a world of hurt to isolate ships. So formation is still going to be pretty key here as far as mitigating a lot of the bomber damage. And unfortunately, the one thing that I have going for me for the other matchups was my ability to basically shield transfer and have good upgrades on my shields with the fast pattern shields. But with Tau and their abundance of railguns, I don't think the shields are going to be very effective in this matchup, as apparently he decides to come after me. I can't for the life of me imagine why he's being so aggressive, considering I have the better point advantage, and the fact that his battle station is not even going to be able to contribute in this exchange. And another thing I need to point out, he has not even deployed his fighters just yet. Not even a single fighter, so you know what that means here, folks. It means my torpedoes are going to have a field day with how wide those Tau ships are, and meaning how easily they're going to get hit. Just look at that amazing torpedo run. You can tell this is going to be maybe an anticlimactic fight, but he does start his firing. He starts sending his bombers with the brace for impact active, and In all honesty, I should have waited and let the Retribution take the front, because in all honesty, this is where the Retribution is probably its most valuable. As I get pushed around by the, the repulsor field, it's going to be another thing that I'm not really used to that I'm going to have to take account for. Because it's completely thrown me off course there with my Retribution. It's kind of stalling because it's stuck with my Dauntless at the moment as my tires take a firing position. But, with that said, I kind of lost my train of thought some. Oh yeah, my Retribution. The one thing I have to seriously criticize, I think, of this engagement is while I'm using my Prow pretty well, I think the Retribution seriously needs to be the first ship to go in the engagement. Because again, we talk about his amazing fire potential, his ability to take out my cruisers relatively quick, so I honestly wonder if the Retribution could go first because it has the most health and it also has the most point defense. So it has the best opportunity to shoot down those Manta bombers even by itself, as already it's starting to go down quickly because of those bombers. We are doing quick work with him otherwise. Half health on the Retribution of course, but he lost the Protector, his bombers are just expended, and we're just bullying him around with this ramming. And my is the ramming working well. The power rams, the lack of him having a brace for impact available, is turning this into a rout really damn quickly. Very anticlimactic, and I seriously wonder how much I can learn from this match, but I think it really comes down to my own play. As I try to get a cautious torpedo salvo in, but dang reload or whatever it was, they messed up the bugged out on me because the torpedoes didn't fire when I thought they were available. But that was a really damn quick cleanup, needless to say. And my main ships are still functioning at good health, with the repairs even going. So now it's just a matter of dealing with the station. And one thing I did not realize, at least for the Tau space station, is that it actually has 9,000 unit range. This is an oversight that I may not have realized, quite frankly, because all this time, it may just actually be the Tau, but I thought all the battle stations had like 12,000 unit range. I know the Imperial Navy one has lances that can shoot it that far, so I wonder if I'm being a little too passive with the battle station assault as a result. Or assault, rather, as a result. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It's been a long day for me, so commentary is probably not going to be best, and quite frankly, it's looking like a stomp anyway, so there's not really much to commentate on, so really all I can give you is my mindset here, thinking about how I should proceed against Tau. Because I had some hard matches there in persistent mode when I did fight them, but I felt really damn good about the one ranked match I played that was recorded at least before, in warm-up, in preparation for the ranked mode, so I like to think I have a good idea how to fight Tau. It's just a matter of denying those bombers as much as possible, I think. And really, with them possibly being the easiest type of bombers to shoot down, considering they only have, what, 2 fighters, Barracudas, to kind of support it, whereas any other fleet basically has 3 fighters and 3 bombers, I think just tight formation and point defense is a good way to go. I shouldn't have to rely on the Dictator too terribly much. Unless he has the energy shield, that might change things a tiny bit. Because then, yeah, there's only 1 bomber that can actually get shot down, so as opposed to like 3 for everything else, so it's a little bit trickier then. But everything else, it practically is based on my armor. They're almost all entirely railguns, with a couple of lances on all the ships, so he catapulates, but if I can deny the bombers, I can weather practically everything else with a good brace for impact at a good timing when I make my advance forward. And then, like I said before, using the Retribution, or my biggest ship in the fleet there, to kind of draw as much fire as possible because it has the health pool for it, the most point defense, and quite frankly, it's the most damn intimidating thing in the fleet, so drawing fire to that, so that way my Dauntless and Tyrants can actually fire completely unhindered, is probably the ideal situation. But after the first match there, that complete like routing, we destroyed all his protectors, he lost the Sauce, so his fleet's kind of limited there a little bit. He can only have a Custodian, 3 Sauces, and his 2 auxiliary ships there. So I just go with the space station assault because, quite frankly, I'm not really afraid of his seeker missiles because they're like the only missiles in the game that don't penetrate the armor very well. So, I was talking about how railguns I can use brace for impact to soak them. So, if the space station ever gets under heavy fire that needs to be defended, I could just send my dictator in the way and just brace for impact for that, with the fighter squads to basically make it almost impossible to take down the station with seeker missiles alone. And apparently, for this matchup, that's actually what he does. Instead of fielding his Demiurge, his Kroot War Spear, Custodian, or anything like that, he just goes with 3 Sauces and a crap ton of Castellans, which is going to be interesting because that's probably the most seeker missiles he could possibly field out of what he has left, quite frankly. He's going to have like a whopping 24, 23 seeker missiles, which seems like it could work if it can get past my dictator. So we shall see how that goes. We will definitely see how that goes. I'm willing to bet, after the luck I've had with this one dictator in the space station, just deterring torpedoes in general, I don't think that's going to work well for him. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not going to work very well, despite how intimidating his fleet might be with the massive number of railguns and seeker missiles he has available. I got a prow armor, and I'm not afraid to use it. Although it makes it a little bit difficult to snipe and shoot down his frigates and cruisers relatively well. So, not much else to really say as I deploy the minefield there. I'm basically making it so he doesn't do a flank maneuver, or at least not a one where he has to micromanage them through this minefield. At least I want him to attack through the front ideally, even though the spread is not really all that effective, I would argue. I do correct it a tiny bit though, not much, but I corrected it a tiny bit. Even though, quite frankly, he's going to come through the front door anyway. So, that's my mindset here with these mines, though. I thought maybe spread out kind of like with Eldar originally, but that seems kind of silly, kind of pointless. I just want to try and encourage him to fight through the front, directly into the waiting arms of my dictator. And as I said before, he's all seeker missiles. This seems intimidating, doesn't it? Because every single one of them is going straight for the battle station. It definitely looks intimidating, I won't lie. But, like I said before, it does not penetrate through armor. I have 3 cruisers that could easily brace for impact and negate a crap ton of that damage. If for some reason my fighters are not up for a task. So, we try and position ourselves in the best way possible to receive these torpedoes and try and figure out where his fleet is, because he actually has 3 Sauces hit with stealth alloy. And look at that, folks. Everything but 1 seeker missile makes it to the station, and I don't even think it did any damage. It may very well have, but even then it's only 30 points of damage, so it's nothing in comparison to the raw dumbfire torpedoes I'm lobbing back at him. And with him fielding 3 Sauces, he better be good at dancing, because he's not going to be able to have fighters to rely on. As we look here, we predict where his Sauces are because of autocast, and we get some beautiful hits. He's not even trying, unfortunately. Which is not exactly a Tau type of matchup I would have liked. But I'm not going to lie though, this Castellan fleet is really intimidating. If I let my guard down, if I don't know how to deal with it. Because those seeker missiles could murder my ships there if I let them hit my side in heavy abundance. And even with the railgun potential of the Castellans. But after a result like that, I don't think I need to worry too much. Hell, I just leave the prow facing these seeker missiles, and like I said, a crap ton of them are hitting the front. I don't know if it's still technically hitting the front when it hits the side like it is with a few of them, but we are practically unscathed somehow from that. So I'm going to assume the prow armor soaked all that damage. As he starts to make his move in, we did an amazing job softening him up, and like I said, it's because he's not even trying to dodge these torpedoes, so this is going to be brutal. All I need to do now is be able to prioritize properly how to clear out all these frigates. And right now, I send the dictator out to kill the the one that's low health, although that probably was a mistake with the bombers because lances are just going to immediately kill that, I think, with its next salvo. It damn well nearly does, but the one that I got turning around to give it better defensive coverage with the station undercruisers is not able to get the shot off. But this does look intimidating. Although with him not locking on, he's not even getting through the shields just yet. Hell, at some point I just turn on the switch and come right to him, charging headlong with my power rams. And with 200 health frigates that are really easy to ram to death, you know how it's gonna go, I think. I'm just waiting for it. One more torpedo salvo, I think, is what I do before I charge on in, especially with him getting closer to me and locking on. Ooh, this is gonna be painful, folks. Brace for impacts on. The Dictator's charging in now. It's time to go crazy with these Castellans. They're not gonna have a chance in hell. Already, that one just immediately dies. That one, even with brace for impact, gets rammed nearly to oblivion. Ooh, it feels good. Despite the stomp that this is becoming, this is nice and fun. Just being able to swat frigates around. Being able to push them around, and unfortunately, like I said, it's a very anticlimactic match. I'm not gonna lie. This is not really the match I want there. The only really thing I can learn from this is my own play. Like I said, for the first match, the Retribution probably should have took point and drew all the fire there. And be basically a true tank in the sense where it draws all the fire, soaks it up, and still keeps on going unhindered. That's probably what I should have done there, but that was an impeccable defense, I will say, for that second match. And unfortunately, he did not seem interested in committing to his auxiliary ships for some reason, or the Custodian. A bit of a short match, unfortunately, but it was a nice stomp. Everyone loves that, right?